And then somebody who I believe most people know is Beetlejuice. Yeah, this is Beetlejuice, and can't say his name a third time. Well, hello, and welcome to Hello, I Am Clutch, where I am here today in Boulder City, right outside of Las Vegas, Nevada, to go to the Tom Devlin's Monster Museum. Yes, those are all the words that are said right there. This museum is a place I've never been to that I've been excited ever since I found out about it. That's something I say all the time. That basically, as far as I understand, is a museum to the art and preservation of the history of kind of special effects makeup and other special effects related type of things. Now, I am a big fan of horror movies in particular, so this type of place appealed to me immediately the second I found out it existed. So I'm excited to take you with me, show you the museum, see what it's all about, and really just see what they got going on here, because I love special effects makeup stuff. I love behind the scenes things in movies, so this really is just a combination of a lot of really fun things that I love. So I'm excited to take you along with me into the museum. So enough said on the outside. Well, not enough said on the outside, a couple things to show you, then we'll go inside. Anyway, you're rambling, Clutch, follow me. So on the outside here, because a couple things to show you, is they have a few cars from movies. Now, I think there's some like actual screen use props as well as some replicas. It doesn't specify out here, but here we have Christine, which is the car from Christine. And then something I've seen all the time is the Ecto-1, although in this case I guess it's the Ecto-13. So not sure what that's all about. And then of course you have the classic Mystery Machine. Anyway, so got a fun set of cars out here. Well, let's go into the museum and see what's going on. Oh, look at this Kurt. I almost said curse. That would kind of be appropriate. We got this really fun hearse, is what I was trying to say. I was trying to say car and hearse at the same time. It came out as curse. Anyway, we got this hearse over here that says Tom Devlin's Monster Museum. That's awesome. That has a casket on top. That's fantastic. Love that. As we walk up these stairs here, we got kind of a just a guy. I don't know. No explanation. But you know it's gonna be a good place because we have a Zoltar. When you have a Zoltar, you know it's gonna be a fun place. Oh my gosh. Well, okay. No, this Zoltar, he scared me. He's interesting. I feel like he's a little worse for wear than some other Zoltars I've seen in the past. Anyway, let's head inside. All right, here's kind of the entryway. So I think this will be where we end up as well, but we'll look at that a little bit more later. Anyway, if you see on the board over here, general admission is $20 for adults. Children ages 6 to 11 is $10, and I guess the rest is free. So anyway, here's the entrance. Let's go inside. Ooh, you open the door, and ooh, well, okay. Well, this is fun. Alright, we got a video here. Let's see. Looks like we got a bunch of screen use props here. So, from things that I am not as familiar with, but they were screen used. So that's nifty. Alright, big Tom Devlin's Monster Museum. Let's continue past that first room. Let's see what else we got. I don't know if that was even the main entrance yet, just a foyer. Okay. Ooh, I know this one. That is Frankenstein's monster, if you were to ask me. You didn't, but I'm telling you. Anyway, got this fun sign here. Welcome. Our mission is to preserve the art and history of special makeup effects. That's what I said. I was basically just repeating what was on the website. So anyway, this looks wonderful. So got some fun things here. I imagine it's not quite the scale of Epic Universe, but it's kind of feeling like the ideas of it. So we have the Mummy here. Talking about Boris Karloff a little bit. He was one of the true icons of horror, if you ask me. We got a fun mask here. Or it's not really a mask, but more like a face thing. So I don't think there's any like jump scares or anything like that in here. I think it's really just like walking through, seeing the art. So don't be worried about anything jumping out or scaring you. That's what I've been told. If something does, I'll let you know. Anyway, here's the T-1000 from Terminator 2. For some reason, they have a poster of Terminator 3. Well, this is Terminator 2. Anyway, and they have the chip from the T-800. Look at that. That's cool. I like that. Then we got another room in here. Wow. And these are some classic 80s slashers. Oh, yeah. They got Ash from Evil Dead, one of my favorite movies of all time was The Evil Dead. Anyway, yeah, I don't talk about this much on the channel because we're not usually watching or looking at things like this, but I do really love horror movies. Anyway, let's see, they're talking about Wes Craven here. Obviously, we got Freddy from the Nightmare Before Elm Street movies. These are kind of fun. And we got, some Wishmaster stuff. You know, Wishmaster is actually one of the franchises I have seen little to zero of, and that's another thing that Clutch has to remedy. For some reason, just never saw the Wishmaster stuff. So, anyway, and this is Ash from Evil Dead 2, which is arguably the best one. If you don't know those movies, it's so hard to explain. Basically, there's Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn, and then Army of Darkness. First one's straight horror movie. One of the best straight horror movies of all time. Second one is basically a kind of parody comedy movie of the first one. One of the best horror comedies of all time. And then the third movie, Army of Darkness, is basically kind of an action-adventure horror comedy. They're all great, but as you can see, one of the big kind of selling points is that, without explaining why, our main character, Ash, has a chainsaw for a hand. Anyway, moving on. We got a lot of classics here. A lot of classics. We got Ghostface. And we got some autographs in the back there. That's kind of neat. And you can kind of hear the music a little bit. We obviously have Michael Myers, not the Austin Powers version, but the one who slashed and killed people for Halloween. I mean, there's a lot to be read on these signs here, giving you a lot of good history and things of that. I'm not gonna say it all. I'm not gonna read it all. It's quite a lot of reading. It's great history. I know for the video's sake, seeing the visual is probably easier, but there's great stuff here. Back there tells you all about John Carpenter and some of the great stuff that he did, where he has great influence. He has done some of my favorite movies of all time. I like The Thing or Big Trouble in Little China is one of my I wouldn't call it guilty pleasure. I don't think anything I love is a guilty pleasure. Because if I like it, I'm telling you, I don't feel guilty about it. Anyway, Texas Chainsaw Massacre stuff here. That's a great one. We got Texas Chainsaw here, and the Leatherface masks. A lot of cool stuff here. And then the man himself, pretty scary. I think something interesting about the original movie is how when you watch that, there isn't actually anyone fully chainsawed in it, if I recall. Spoilers for a 40, 50-year-old movie, but that's something. And then this down here looks a little bit too creepy. It looks very real. I think it's meant to be, from this I believe is from Texas Chainsaw 2, when they were, it's funny because the movie is silly, but it's not as humorous as this might make you think, because this looks like a parody of Breakfast Club. Anyway, I've talked enough in this room. Let's move on to the next hallway. And we've immediately made it to the next hallway, and this is great. Let's see, on the right here, I'm not 100% sure who I'm looking at here, but it's creepy. But, here we got the strangers from that. I like this hallway. I like that they're making this light vibe. Now this is special to me. This is something I love because I feel like, again, as a horror movie lover, I feel like a lot of people don't know this movie. This is Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. This movie was wonderful. So this is Leslie Vernon. This movie was basically a sort of satire of slasher movies, where it was a fake documentary where they talked to this man, Leslie Vernon, who basically talked about how he went about making these traps for his victims, and how he basically had to work on cardio to make sure he could walk really fast and still catch up to people. It's a fantastic movie that has some interesting twists as well, but it just deconstructs the slasher genre in a way that I love. So if you've not seen Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon, highly suggest that one. And another hero of horror cinema is George Romero, best known for the original Night of the Living Dead, basically making zombies cool. And then over here we have, I believe this is the Return of the Living Dead, with the, oh my gosh, I feel terrible not knowing the name off the top of my head. It's like a slime kind of creature guy. You can see how creepy he is here. It's fun to be kind of going through a horror thing with no worry about scare in the middle of April, which is when I'm here. So that's a lot of fun. And we just got another guy over here, and I am not 100% sure who this is. So if you can tell me in the comments, I'd love to be told who am I looking at here. But this is great. These full things here with a little bit of explanation and the autograph posters. That's a lot of fun. Moving along, we have the Camp Crystal Lake section. I know because it says welcome to Camp Crystal Lake. So obviously who we're looking at here is Jason Voorhees, or you know, the man in the hockey mask. Fun fact about him being, oh there he is in the hockey mask. So the fun fact about him is that he's so iconic for that, but most people I think don't know, I don't believe he actually donned the hockey mask until the third movie. So it's all the way until the third one that he actually donned it, because little bit spoilers again for some of these really old movies. The very first movie, it wasn't Jason Voorhees. It was I gotta say, even though nothing is gonna pop out and scare me, there is kind of a mood and a vibe here. We got Jason Voorhees from, I feel like this is from either 9 or 10, with the way it is on his head there. If you look at that, that looks, they don't have a sign here, but I remember like the kind of flesh. Let me back up a little bit there. Like the flesh around the head thing, I swear that was from either Jason Goes to Hell or, yeah, not Jason X. I don't think it would be the space one. And then over here, we have a gremlin, the spider gremlin from Gremlins 2, the new batch, which is, for some reason, a lot of times the second movie was a semi-parody of the first movie, where Gremlins 2, if you haven't seen it, is ridiculous. Just also a little note, if you have not seen the Key and Peele sketch for the pitch meeting, essentially, of Gremlins 2, I highly suggest going and watching that as well, because it's hilarious, especially if you know the movie. This poster over here talks about Kane Hodder, who is kind of well known for having played Jason, I believe, in 4 movies here. He did Jason in Part 7, Part 8, Jason Goes to Hell, which is Part 9, and Jason 10. Jason Goes to Space, anyway. So this just kind of talks about him because he's kind of well known there. So here's some more fun, just models and things. It's spooky, it's scary. And as you can see here, we have arrived at Hellraiser. Oh my gosh, the Hellraiser movies are, the first one has some amazing practical effects. That's something that I love more than anything when it comes to horror movies, is when they do have practical effects, not just makeup effects. I mean, I do appreciate the makeup effects. This always made me think of Nemesis from Resident Evil 3, if you know that reference. Again, clutch with the video game references. But the practical effects in this movie of the character design and just honestly some of the bizarro things that happen in it are quite amazing. And then of course I just have to mention Clive Barker, because over here he is talking about him. He's the one who made this. He's the writer-director of the Hellraiser. I mean, there was many Hellraisers, but the original one. Moving to the next room, we have The Hills Have Eyes. So that's what this section is. This is the eyes, and the hills have them. This actually, that's another series I have not actually seen, even though I'm aware of it. It's just one that I gotta catch up on. But then over here is one I know very well. This is the Child's Play series. This is Tiffany and Chucky in their Bride of Chucky element here. I don't know what it is, but somehow Child's Play 2 of all movies came across my radar first. Let's see if I can get better light here so you can see Chucky up there. Some bizarro kind of Chucky. These movies stuck with me. I remember my dad taking me to see Bride of Chucky in theaters when I was a kid, which probably was an interesting choice, but I liked the movies when I was like 10, 11 years old, and so I saw them and I loved them. I don't know where my horror movie love came from. I love this. They got the good guys thing in here. I'm by myself, so I can't really take a good selfie in here, but that'd be fun. I do like that they have Tom Devlin's Monster Museum, Boulder City, Nevada there. But anyway, the Child's Play movies, oof, those are ones that I love. All right, in the next room here, we got a few things. So to your right, you got the Leprechaun. That's kind of a Wayne's World reference, but anyway, Leprechaun franchise. Then we, of course, have Candyman. Got his hook. And then, oh, that's kind of sad. I don't know if that must have been in the past, because Tony Todd, unfortunately, recently passed away. Did a lot of very classic horror movies that you would know him from. Obviously, Candyman, I feel like, is his biggest known thing, but he was also in the Final Destination movies. And, I mean, he was in a lot of other things as well. Every time I watch The Rock, I get a little bit of a a little bit of a smile because of his performance in that. Anyway, and then we also have the critter from Critters over here. These are great. I always love this poster. This poster for Critters 2 was one that I remember well when I used to go to Blockbusters and see like the covers of these movies. I think that's something that I loved a lot, and why I love horror movies is that the posters for them when I went to Blockbuster back in the day really just like, there's always such curious, fun posters. But there's so much more fun in this room. So back to the start here. We obviously have Pennywise, the Tim Curry version, from It, and this is partially It. It's not fully It, but it is partially It. I have read It. It is a beast. It is over 1,000 pages long, but it's a good book, minus one really weird part that I will not mention. If you know It, even for Stephen King, it's weird. Anyway, moving on, we have the Killer Klowns from Outer Space. I remember watching this as a kid as well and thinking it was interesting, to say the least. But again, I love the practical effects as adults. I appreciate what goes into that. That's a big reason why I was excited about coming to this museum even to begin with, was just to see all these creatures, these practical effects, this love of creature features, makeup, practical effects, all those things. Moving on, we have Ghoulies. This is actually another franchise. I sound terrible. I sound way too repetitive. It's just that there's so many of them, like movies out there. Never seen Ghoulies, and I need to see some Ghoulies. So here you have them. They're coming out of the toilet. I remember that obviously from the poster up here. But I recognize them, but I don't know them as much. So here we have some creatures that I'm not as familiar with. This says it's Ouija's Halloween Night, a screen used in a movie called Ouija's. Not as familiar with that, so I don't know. So if you know about that, let me know. And then we got stuff from a movie called Killjoy. Don't know that as much. Gingerbread Man, I am familiar with that one. So that's the Gingerbread Man. That's cool. Let's see. We got we got Blade from the Puppet Master series. I do know that one. Oh, we got a few more Puppet Master things here. If you keep going, so we got Blade again, and I want to say, was this Pinhead? Was that? Tell me if I'm wrong in the comments section. Let me know. I have seen the Puppet Master movies, but it has been a hot second. I always found them fun and creepy. Where we have a few more of them here as well. And this is kind of cool that these were from Puppet Master Axis Termination, one of the many sequels from that one. And then let's see, continuing on, we have Princess of Mars. I'm not as familiar with that one, but there you go. We got Mega Piranha. That's fun. Let's see, some kind of Wolfman looking stuff over on Meow. Doesn't label it for these, so sorry, couldn't tell you. Poultrygeist, I remember seeing posters for this. I never did end up seeing that one, but we have that. And then, we got some stuff from Troma. Troma makes a lot of like really schlocky kind of horror movies. I believe like Toxic Avenger is probably the one that people know the most, if I recall correctly. So this is fun. They have Troma's 3 rules of production. We have safety to humans, safety to people's property, make a good movie. I'll take it. So there's actually a nice little sign here telling you a little bit about Tom Devlin. It's funny to be this far into the museum, and now we're learning about Tom Devlin. So he worked on the X-Files and some films like Scorpion King, Red Dragon with Anthony Hopkins, which I believe was a Silence of the Lambs sequel or prequel? Can't remember off the top of my head, and Terminator 3. That explains the Terminator 3 poster. Now it makes sense. Anyway, but I love that it says his true passion was in the B-movie realm. That makes a lot of sense given everything we're seeing here. So just little fun history about Tom Devlin here and why he has this wonderful museum. I'm having a great time walking through it. Over here, I think this looks like Five Nights at Freddy's to me. It is not labeled. I'm familiar with the games. I'm familiar with the movie, but I haven't played or watched either, but it looks like that to me. And then over here, we obviously have some Planet of the Apes stuff where there's some, I mean, back in the day, those were some top-notch effects. So that's pretty great there. And then across, well, first of all, it talks about John Chambers, who was an American makeup artist and prosthetic makeup expert who worked on things like Planet of the Apes, Star Trek, a lot of good things. So just want to give him a little bit of love right there. But across from this, what do we got? we have what some argue is one of the scariest movies of all time, is The Exorcist. Now, I don't know if I believe that. I don't know what the scariest movie of all time is. What do you think is the scariest movie of all time? Leave a comment in the comments section if you know or have a feeling of what you think is the scariest movie of all time. But when it comes to The Exorcist, I have seen it, but I don't think I've seen it in like 20 years. So I imagine how at the time, I understand how they could have been one of the scariest things ever. But anyway, over here, we have the, I don't want to fully spoil it because if you haven't seen it, we have one character from the movie Trick or Treat. Trick or Treat is a fantastic anthology horror movie where there's like multiple stories, but the stories kind of interconnect and kind of overlap in certain ways, and it has some comediness to it. It subverts a lot of expectations, and that is one that is truly like, that's another horror movie that I feel like not a lot of people know, but the people who do know it love it, and I am one of those people who love it. So I really think that's one that's worth your time. It's from writer and director Michael Dougherty. 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 I'm so bad. I see how it's spelled. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, because I do love it, but I've never heard his name spoken out loud. Anyway, I believe he also wrote and directed the movie Krampus, which I feel like was a little bit more popular. So if you know that one, that's what we're getting here. And then, of course, I talked about it a moment ago, but here we have the actual Toxic Avenger avenging toxicity. Now we're getting to some more relatively classic things where we have the Munsters. So not Frankenstein's monster. This is actually talking about the Munsters. At first, it's funny when you have it kind of in non-visual, non-like animated form or in a movie. Might not be obvious at first. Anyway, we have the Munsters here. And then over here we have the Wolfman, and then talking about Lon Chaney Jr., who was also a big, important part of movie history when it comes to horror movies and effects and things like that. And then over here we have Creature from the Black Lagoon. And then somebody who I believe most people know is Beetlejuice. Yeah, this is Beetlejuice, and can't say his name a third time. Moving along, we have the Hunchback of Notre Dame. And then we have I believe this is the Phantom of the Opera. Yes, this is the Phantom of the Opera. I don't know how well you can see that there, given the light currently. But this is Lon Chaney, who is also, again, like Lon Chaney Jr., very important, very influential in the makeup and art and like acting and horror movie sense from early films. And this is great. Look at this. We got a Creepshow kind of facade here. I love this. This is actually one of the coolest things I've seen here so far, because it's like the movie poster, and so that's great. And then over here we have Nosferatu, basically one of the most original, or not original, but necessarily earliest depictions of vampires in visual media ever. This is great. Gosh. And I feel like this is becoming a little bit more popular these days because of the recent movie called Nosferatu. Looks like we have a bit of a theater back here. You can just kind of watch some stuff. I don't know what is on the screen at present. I don't know if maybe I should show it because I don't want to get in trouble by the YouTube gods that be. But it's cool that you can sit here and watch a movie if you wanted to. And then I think we exit. I'm not sure if this is the end yet, so I'll let you know in a moment. Yep, we just exited through the gift shop. So that was the whole museum there. And so got some fun stuff in here as well. They also have an additional alien museum they've opened recently that you can do, I think for an extra $10, or at least that's what they're offering while I was here. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff. That was really fun to walk through. More thoughts in just a moment. Just looking around this room, there's a lot of really great posters signed by either cast or other people who were associated with the films. And they're all made out to Tom Devlin here, so that's awesome. So you got Halloween, Phantasm, Reanimator, Pumpkinhead. Oh my gosh, The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs. You got Return of Swamp Things, Devil's Rejects. Got some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles over here. This is great. You got Freddy vs. Jason, Troll 2, Maniac Cop, Urban Legend. Got Gremlins up there. Night of the Living Dead. There's Plan 9 from Outer Space. There's a lot of great stuff here. Got some nice magnets over here as well. And a bunch of random kind of fun stuff you can buy. They got some movies and DVDs, which I guess is redundant. That's the same thing. But they got, I like these mugs as well. And I think they also have some stickers somewhere. I've been looking for them, but haven't found them just yet. Here we go. Here's the stickers. $4 for these. Got a nice little variety of them. And they're pretty sizable too.
The mall's definitely.
Nice. So thank you for coming along with me as I nerded out in the Tom Devlin's Monster Museum. That was a fun place. I like the appreciation of the art and the history of the creatures, of all the effects and things like that. It was fun to walk through for someone like me who knows a lot of these franchises, even though I haven't seen them all. I was familiar with almost everything, other than some of the it was some of the more obscure stuff in there. But it's fun to learn about it because that means I have just more stuff to know and do. So that was cool. I did want to mention something they apparently just opened was also an additional like alien museum that's here. They were offering a combo ticket at the time where you could do that for an extra $10. I don't know how long that'll last. I just don't have the time to do it today. Sounds neat. Sounds like they have some kind of more like alien movie stuff as well as some more kind of looking at the Roswell Area 51 kind of stuff. But wanted to let you know that's here as well, so you can kind of do two things while you're in this area. Overall, I would say museum was great. It was a lot of fun. For 20 bucks, I feel like you go through pretty quick. Now, I could have like taken the time to read everything, and for what you get, to me, it is just probably a little bit more than I'd like to spend again. Like, I don't feel like I'd be aching to come back anytime soon, but like a lot of things that I do, I feel like it's absolutely worth it if you've never done it before to do it. I think this was a very fun thing. I think seeing the history of it and just seeing all the creatures in like one place like that was fantastic. But anyway, I want to thank you for coming along with me. If you do want to see some other fun things around the Las Vegas area, I do have a whole playlist that you can watch right here. A lot of other fun stuff that aren't really as monster oriented, but are fun, more in the kind of main Las Vegas area. So maybe I'll see you in one of those in the near future. But until then, I will say goodbye. I am still Clutch.